Hello, trading has closed on November 26th, 2024. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls, make our predictions. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is November 27th, 2024. Please remember, my calls can be wrong. All trades you make should be made at your own risk. It's important to remember that the MEJT system gives targets, it doesn't give entries. Look for the pattern today with the early high. It tends to be a rally day with a high and a final hour. We got that. Tomorrow should also have the early high. Early high tomorrow. The general idea is that I'm hesitant to look for a top in this area because the week is one of the most bullish weeks in the calendar for the market. I just don't think a correction is too far away, and that remains the call. MEJT identified a few moves as false moves. They've already retraced, so that's played out. Here's the demarked top signal. It gives the area of a top, not an exact top, but there is a stop loss, and we're not quite there yet. But if we go a heck of a lot higher, it's going to violate the stop loss. And usually when that happens, it rallies in grand style, and it means my whole assumption is going to be wrong. I'd rather we stop around here. We hit a nominal new high today, but I don't think that really changes the count. You're talking about a point or two, and if that's the end of it, that's still a valid count with appreciably lower targets on the downside. Boy, you're coming as close to that apex as you can without killing the whole idea. If we go too much higher than we are now, my whole thesis is going to get thrown in the memory hole. You can always come up with a count, I guess, that says whatever you want it to say. If I move magenta A from here to here, I can still count magenta A as complete. And if you look at what could be magenta B, I can still count this as A with good fibs, B with good fibs, and C with good fibs. And this is 5 waves up. I mean, if that's wave 1, 2, 3, 4, that's wave 5. They're equal. I mean, if I'm looking for a top in this area, and I have been, and if that's not it, then I'm just going to be wrong. I think that's the end of the move. And if I'm wrong, it sure is close enough in terms of a stop. And if I'm wrong, I don't think I'm wrong by much, but the wave count's pretty. If that isn't the end of it, going to have to find some other count which is just as pretty. Maybe it's there. It's just tough to come up with one for me. So tomorrow's pattern has the early high, which doesn't tell us where we open. We could open up here and the call's killed before they open. That's the way it works, but if I'm right, that's the end of the move. We're in a time frame in which other people have called for a top. There's a wave count compatible with that top being reached today. There's a decent chance today marked the end of this leg up. I don't feel it's the end of the bull market, but there's a 3-day window, 3 to 6 day window for Caroline's F25 date. I mean, if it is the top, we don't know that yet. It's within his range, and the bigger this number, the bigger the drop. So if that's a top, it could be very significant. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but all the elements are there. Every now and then you have to stick your neck out. I'm going to stick it out now. So tomorrow's pattern has the early high. That's a great candidate for a top. If I'm wrong, I don't think I'm wrong by much. And if I am wrong by much, it'll be obvious pretty soon and won't have to risk too much money. So it's the pattern with the early high. This could be the start of something big on the downside. If I'm wrong, the stop is close enough, and that's today's call.